just take our reel seat, slide it down, just like that, just like before. We're going to use a China marker, mark the top of where the reel seat's going to sit on the blank. In this case, we're just going to build up our reel seat. We're going to make some artificial arbors just out of masking tape. Some people don't like using arbors. They're a little more finicky in a sense. Masking tape is real simple to use, so that's what we're going to do here. Being that this is a smaller reel seat, just a size 17, not a big deal, I'm just going to make 3 wraps. Go ahead and start my first one right above the rear grip, and maybe 1/4 inch above the rear grip, and just spin the blank. Keep the tape, relatively tight so that the tape isn't loose on there. Give it a couple spins. Check it. Tighten your tape up. And just compact a little bit with your fingers. Slide the reel seat back down. Check the fit. This one still needs a little more to go. And I like to start taping my rings from the bottom, right above the grip. That way you can check it and then move. And then when you do your next wrap of tape, you can check that one and then check your third one independently. If you start from the top, you can't check your second or third because you're still going to be touching first, and you're not going to get a real good idea of how snug your subsequent wraps are. It's built up a little too high, not a problem. Just back some of the tape off. And this is just regular 1/2 inch masking tape. There you go, perfect little fit. You want to slide on there, but be nice and snug. You want to fit epoxy, a little bit of epoxy in between the blank, or in between the reel seat and the tape. If it's too tight, when you push it over, it's going to push all the epoxy out of there, and it's just going to be friction holding against it, and that's not going to stick forever. So you want to get some epoxy in there, but you do want it to be nice and snug. If you put your tape too loose on the blank, your reel seat is going to spin, even with the epoxy, eventually, because that tape is not tight against the blank, and the tape will slip on itself. Alright, now we're good to go. Now we just need to epoxy the reel seat. Now we already know where to stop because we have our China marker here, our China mark here, and this is our top ring anyway, which we know is going to be at the top of the reel seat, so there's no need to go ahead and epoxy above that. You can go ahead and use your same U40 rod bond. Just swab it on there. And if you do use tape, go ahead and push the tape up, or push the epoxy up into the sides of the tape where it rolled up on top of itself, where it built up on the sides. That way it really locks in the tape, and will prevent the tape from ever loosening up on itself. And this is where you really want to just glob it on there. You want to make sure that your epoxy is not just on the tape, but it also fills in the gaps between the tape, because that's where you're really going to lock it in. The tape is built up to make sure the reel seat sits firmly to where it doesn't rock in a sense, but the epoxy in the middle is really what's holding that reel seat to the blank itself. So you want to build that up high to where it's just as high as the top of your rolls of tape are. See, we've got the epoxy nice and high in the middle of the rings. And before you slide this on, you can put a ring of masking tape around the threads here at the bottom of the reel seat. That way when you slide it down, your excess comes out. It won't be getting on the threads. You can just pull the tape off. We'll go ahead and do that here. Leave a little tag sticking off, and we can pull it off without getting your fingers all sticky. Go ahead and slide the reel seat down. Again, it's a little half twist along the way. And again, you want to make sure you measured, just check, make sure you measured right. You you see epoxy coming through the top of the rear seat, which means you're good and epoxied all the way through. And we'll just take our tape here, pull it off, and all that excess just comes off with it. Now that our rear seat's on, we're going to go ahead and move on to our foregrip. In this case, we're using an epoxy foregrip, with a nice largemouth bass inside of it with epoxy finish on the outside. Real nice look, a little different. Most people don't do it, so it's just another way to customize your rod. I've already checked to make sure, but I'll show you again. Slide your foregrip down just like the rear grip. Look, this one fits just perfectly to where once I put some epoxy on there, it'll slip down real nice and snug on top of the rear seat. Again, we're going to use the China marker just to mark where we need to stop our epoxy. No sense going up higher than we need to. Scratch that. In this case, since it's pre-made foregrip and it's just fitting a little too snug, but not too tight to get down there, we'll just go ahead and put our epoxy up a little bit higher than we'll really need it, or a little higher than where the foregrip's actually going to end up sitting, because that'll help. Just help it slide down all the way, and make sure it has a good. It'll fill the inside of the foregrip up, real nice with epoxy. Slide it down. Again, we've got that little bead, which is good. It means we've got plenty of epoxy. Just go ahead and push it all the way down. There we go.